Hey, GW coming to you live. Wow, what a week, huh? I take off a week. Things at home go crazy. Like I said, I mentioned that review about the microwave when I talked about or the oven. What happened there? And then we lost three celebrities. We lost Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne, and Malcolm Jamal Warner. And devastating to say the least. And I really have no words. I mean, I grew up watching The Cosby Show. Theo was cool. You know, Malcolm Jamal Warner's character on that show. He was really cool. I don't think he did much out of The Cosby Show that I have seen. Hulk Hogan was another fixture in my childhood. You know, me and my cousin would have to rush home to watch Saturday Night's Main Event. And I remember when we were 4 or 5 that I rented WrestleMania 3. That was when you got the double disc. I was not really a big Hulk Hogan fan, but we watched that match between Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, and it was memorable. And I remember leading up to it, because they had everything on the double disc, or the double VCR tape. They had the press conference. My mom didn't want me watching it because she didn't realize the ins and outs of pro wrestling. She didn't know it was all fake at that point. And when Saturday Night's Main Event was on, we we had to run home. And I remember somebody along the line got us a copy of WrestleMania 4. And yeah, it was amazing. And then we watched Rocky, and Hulk Hogan was in Rocky, and we actually went to the theater to see Suburban Commando with Christopher Lloyd. He plays a space guy. I can't remember the gist of it, but bounty hunters come to hunt him, and one of them was the Undertaker. And then we saw him in one of the greatest bad movies ever, No Holds Barred. I actually got a copy sitting around here somewhere. Saw that in the theater, and when you're a kid, you think it's the greatest thing in the world. You know, Hulk Hogan's gonna kick the crap out of the bad guys. Yeah! You watch it now, and you can predict the ending when you're, you know, a wrestling entrepreneur like me. You know, aficionado. And Ozzy Osbourne, that really hurt. I remember when the Osbournes got on MTV. I had just started getting into his music, and little sidebar, whenever I was in second, third grade, maybe even fourth and fifth grade maybe, all the kids that I went to school with, I can name them all, they used to be into all that heavy metal, you know, Wasp, Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne, you know, they knew Randy Rhoads, Poison. That was the only group that I knew, you know, at the time, was Poison. I never cared about heavy metal, never cared about anything. Was always into rap, you know, or movie songs, you know, songs from like, you know, Rocky 3 or 4, just to give you an example. And I remember watching the Osbournes, and I'm like, dude, this guy's cool. You know, occasionally through my life, you know, you heard some Ozzy songs, but I wasn't really big on them. I don't know why. And then I started watching, like I said, the Osbournes, and I started buying some of his CDs. And I started watching some videos, and I remember one of the videos I actually did pre-order, I think I did on Amazon, was Miracle Man. He had 2 videos on there, Miracle Man, and I forget the other one, but it was behind the scenes, and I read that he took shots at Jim Baker at that time, and I'm like, oh, this guy's alright. Not that I just thought it was interesting that a heavy metal singer was taking shots at a preacher instead of a preacher taking shots at a heavy metal singer. So I started getting into him and watched all of his stuff, you know, all the videos I could find. My wife got me a 3.5-hour video competitive thing. You know, it's about like Yay Big. Every video except Shot in the Dark, because somehow that had a lawsuit on it. but I watched them all. We watched them all, and they were fantastic. And there was when they were filming, when he was filming with his son Jack, they were actually at the place that I work at, and as we were leaving that day, me and my wife, camera crew drove in, and where we work, it's nothing to see camera crews or limos. You just figure, it's some high-ranking government official, dude, whatever. But Jack was driving, and as we're walking out, he waved to me. And I'm like, honey, is that looked like Jack Osborne. I'm like, no way that's Jack Osborne. It was. He stayed at the Fairfield up here in Butler, and he went to eat at Texas, or not Texas, but Rachel's Roadhouse up there, right across from the Fairfield. And if we would have been 5 minutes ahead of our schedule or behind, we wouldn't have even noticed. But where my wife used to work, they shot some footage. But it was really cool that they put it on TV. It was also really cool that you can brag now and go, yeah, Ozzy was where I was, But I was never a big fan until, I got a little bit older. Started following the Osbournes, and my wife started following Ozzy. My wife's mother has Parkinson's, and Ozzy does too. And my wife would follow, him, Michael J. Fox, anybody that was famous that had Parkinson's disease, my wife would follow and basically, look up to these guys for their courage. And my wife cries every time she sees Michael J. Fox. Now we watched the Osbournes, I Want to Believe, which I really liked. So we were all big into that, big fans, and you felt like you knew them. If you watched them enough on the television, you felt like you knew them, like they were your friends. Like Ozzy could be like that dude next door that you could relate to, because he wasn't a typical dude. Allergies got into me. I'm sorry, guys. So it really, really hurt when my wife told me that. I mean, I stopped dead and I actually slumped on the couch, and it was not fun. It really hurt. And I love these people that go, Ozzy was just a heavy metal singer. Ozzy was one of the biggest rock and roll entertainers in the whole world. I would put him ahead of Michael Jackson, if you want to know the truth. Because I think more people know of him than Michael Jackson. I mean, people know Michael Jackson, but I think Ozzy's bigger. You know what I'm saying? In just generalization here. But that guy has had one hell of a life. And he touched not only the people close to him, but everybody that went to see him. Everybody that went to see him, I think at the end of the night, like any great entertainer, he was grateful and very appreciative. And he was humble. He didn't act like he was better than everybody else. He didn't throw anything in your face. He was just him. So lately, me and my wife have been on Amazon Prime. We're watching the Osbournes uncensored, and it's amazing. And like I said, Malcolm Jamal Warner, that came out of nowhere. I mean, who expected him to die of a drowning? You don't. And devastatingly shocking. And I know that the Cosby Show has a black eye because of its main star. But I do not think that the legacy of that show should be tarnished for the other cast members. So we've had all kinds of bad news. And my uncle's down from Maine, so we've been visiting him, and it's been a little crazy, and I haven't dropped any reviews. I did, speaking of his visit, we did go to the outlet malls, and they have moved Hot Topic up there. I didn't know that. We go there once a year. And I talked to two of the checkout girls. Very nice. One of them went to Butler. Her and my wife started talking, and it was pretty cool. But it was really hot. And I just wonder, if my uncle's pushing, upper 80s. I just wonder if it's the last time he's coming down from Maine to see us. Because I have taken every year off this time since I was a teenager, and look forward to this. And it's just another thing that's, has a question mark on it. Being that I was off, I actually did watch a movie that I wanted to watch yesterday. And you're probably going to think I'm going sideways because I review horror movies and this and that. But I watched Happy Gilmore too. I initially read the review because I watched it first thing yesterday morning, like around 3 o'clock in the morning, I think I was up. I think it premiered on Netflix maybe shortly after midnight somewhere. Don't know. So initial reports said that it was horrible. It was nothing but fan service. Critics ripped it apart. But I'm sitting here going, you know what? I watched the first one. I know the first one pretty well, but I don't watch it all the time. I've seen it 1 or 2 times. I know the movie pretty well. I know the story pretty well. I've seen it enough to correlate and go, okay. So I started watching number 2 for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to see how the sequel would fare. And 2, because there is a guy in there that plays one of Adam Sandler's children. He's the oldest. And he's my favorite wrestler, Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Very cocky, very arrogant. And he fit the part of Adam Sandler's kid very well. And I'll tell you what. If you didn't know any better, for his first part, he was good. He was very good. But I wanted to see how they would do some of these things without Bob Barker, because he passed away, without Carl Weathers, who played Adam Sandler's golf coach. I wanted to see where the stories go. Also, his daughter is in there too, as a matter of fact. So I'm watching this, and they bring back a lot of the recurring characters from the first one. Ben Stiller's in there and a few others, and there's actually a surprise cameo, but you guys probably already figured out because it's been all over the news. There is a cameo toward the end of the film, which I never saw coming. One thing about this movie, I did read that AEW wrestlers, like I said, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, was in the movie with a few WWE wrestlers. Those two companies do not get along. They did not want to cross-promote it because of each other being in it. And it just kind of seemed really stupid at the end of the day because, you want your product to succeed based on, or you want your movie to succeed based on the cast, who's in there. But I don't know why no one promoted it, but I know the fans were really eager to eat this up. So I watched it, and it has a lot of callbacks from the first one. Now, do you have to watch the first film to watch this? Absolutely not. There is enough flashbacks and callbacks that you'll feel comfortable that you know what's going on with the character. So when we meet Happy Gilmore, what's going on? Well, he's an alcoholic. Because they show you in the beginning his wife passes away from a freak golfing accident. We'll just put it that way. That's good. And his daughter wants to go to a ballerina school in Paris. So what does Happy have to do? He has to raise an extraordinarily large amount of money to send her to Paris. But the premise is it's really interesting because it doesn't rehash the Happy Gilmore Shooter McGavin rivalry, although not to its fullest extent. Let me just put it that way. They end up becoming allies, and it's an interesting dynamic for what it is. But basically, you're looking at the villain of this movie and I'm going to try to keep spoilers to a minimum, is a gentleman who wants to make golf into a hybrid sport. What I mean by that is he wants to take all the old golf, throw it out the window, make it an obstacle course. And it does dive into some of the PG 13 wackiness and crudeness and offensiveness. And it actually, at the end of the day, it's a movie with heart. And you walk away going, yeah, that was dumb, but there was something there. There was some little piece of heart in that film. And it was really good. I really liked it. Now, would I go crazy for it? No. Would I pay to see it? Probably at a matinee. I'd probably spend about maybe $5-10 on it. Yes. But I would not want to see it in the theater at full price. I'll tell you that. Because you have to go into this movie knowing that it's going to be, like I just said, PG-13 offensiveness. The jokes are going to land. Little kids, 6 or 7, they're going to laugh this crap all up. But when you get my age and you're over that juvenile humor, some things land better and some don't that you would think. But all in all, it was not a terrible movie. And the one thing I liked about it is, in the midst of all this tragedy, it was something to take your mind off of the 3 major deaths that we have. Oh, also, I got to report a 4th death. My wife watches this cat named, there's 3 Southern Cats. It's the name of the YouTube channel. Willow and a bunch of other ones. Well, Willow passed away. And the lady has a hell of a YouTube channel, hell of a TikTok, and she makes these cats seem like characters. She's very popular. What she does was, she was making a YouTube video of how she had to put Willow to sleep, and it was very, very sad. It was very not cool. And my wife's crying. My wife's still upset about that cat, because my wife would watch Willow every day. They put out a new video, she'd be the first one to watch it, right? Tigger and Weezer and Willow, and they were just characters. The lady took ordinary cats, gave them a voice, and then bam, it was insane. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster here, and it's just hard to juggle. It's hard to juggle, and this heat sucks. Last couple of days, I haven't slept right. It's been that soupy garbage, and I don't know. Then I got all kinds of things going on, but yeah, Happy Gilmore 2. It's worth a watch. Check it out. Also, another good thing on Netflix, if you're planning on checking it out, I've been checking it out because I've been playing a lot of Ready or Not, that SWAT-based AI game where you can do commander mode and you can play multiplayer with people. One of the most immersive tactical shooters in the market. I love it. So I've been watching a lot of SWAT on Netflix, and SWAT is actually very good. Very good. And if you're a fan of Ready or Not, it kicks the action up about, Michael Bay level. But it's pretty cool, so check it out. Nothing else. Just been playing some video games and, nothing else. It's just too hot to do anything. So maybe tomorrow I'll get up. I'll come down here. I have some horror films on the list I might want to check out. But we did, like I said, watch the new Final Destination movie, and that thing is crazy. If you haven't seen it, Bloodlines, definitely give it a whirl. It'll keep you on the edge of your seat. It actually shows the origins of the funeral guy, Tony Todd, who's in there, But I like this one too because it draws out the death scene perfectly. I mean, they really ratchet up the tension in this film. And at the end of the thing, people were speculating that whenever, at the end where the credits go, there is probably going to be another one. And I'm like, my wife's like, yeah, there's going to be another one. I'm like, well, yeah, you know how many ideas they have? They can keep cranking this thing out, different scenarios. But this one was really good. So Bloodlines, definitely give it a whirl. Until Dawn is on Netflix. If you guys want to check that out, you don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy the Blu-ray. Just give it a whirl. I enjoyed that film, but it's one of those ones you got to watch twice to really get what's going on. But other than that, like I said, it's just Happy Gilmore 2. Don't believe all the crap. Yes, it's a stupid movie, but it's a stupid movie with heart. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. And that's pretty much it. And to all my fans, I appreciate it. To everybody new subscribing, thank you. I will have to give you a shout out. You know the deal, you guys. You write me, I'll write you back. You guys want me to check out something or you want my opinion on something, hey, don't hesitate. So, anyway, stay cool. It's miserable. It feels like the jungle up in here, even in the house. So, but yeah. There ain't nothing to do. Get the air conditioning on. Watch some Happy Gilmore 2.